The most attractive thing an older man can wear has nothing to do with brands, trends, or how much he spent. It is something most men stopped wearing the moment they stopped believing they deserve to be noticed. And the women who encounter a man who wears it feel it before they see anything else. What we're covering today goes far beyond clothing. We're talking about 7 specific things, some physical, some entirely internal, that older men wear when they have genuinely done the work on themselves. One of them involves something Marcus Aurelius specifically practiced every morning that changed how he moved through every room he entered. And the climax, the 7th thing, is the one that women consistently describe as the most attractive quality available in a man of any age. All 7. Let's go. The Stoics understood something about presence that modern culture has almost completely forgotten. What you wear on the outside, fabric, fit, color, communicates something. But what you wear on the inside and how you carry yourself, how you inhabit your own existence, the specific quality of energy you bring into a room, communicates everything. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Today we break down exactly what that being looks like, what it feels like from the outside, and why older men who have arrived at genuine character are among the most magnetically attractive people available. 7 things, real philosophy, real psychology. Let's get into it. Bold claim. The most attractive outfit an older man can wear is one that communicates complete alignment between who he is and how he presents, and most men get this exactly backwards. Here is the psychology. Congruence, the alignment between internal identity and external presentation, is one of the most powerful subconscious attraction signals available. When a man's appearance matches his actual life, his actual values, his actual character, women feel that alignment before they can articulate why. When it doesn't match, when the presentation is either trying too hard to seem younger or has completely stopped trying altogether, the incongruence registers immediately. The Stoic principle here is what Epictetus called living according to nature, presenting yourself in alignment with who you actually are, rather than who you think you should be or who you once were. For an older man, this means dressing with intention rather than habit, not following trends, not wearing what you wore at 35, not wearing the same 3 shirts you've had for a decade because changing feels like effort, wearing clothes that fit your current body, that reflect your current life, that communicate, "I am a man who pays attention to himself," not out of vanity, but out of genuine self-respect. Scenario: a man named Gerald, 58, recently decided to start caring about his presentation again after years of autopilot, invested in 3 pairs of well-fitted dark trousers, 4 quality shirts in neutral colors, and a single well-constructed blazer. He hadn't changed his body. He hadn't changed his circumstances. He had simply updated the external to match the internal work he'd been doing. A woman he'd known professionally for 2 years said to him at an event, "You seem different. I can't identify what it is." It wasn't the clothes. The clothes were simply the external expression of a man who had decided to show up for himself again. And that decision, visible in how he carried himself, confirmed by how he dressed, was what she was responding to. What most men do wrong, they either overinvest in clothing as a substitute for inner work, or they underinvest as a form of resignation. Both extremes communicate the same thing: a man who is not in genuine relationship with his own present self. What actually works: dress with the same intentionality you bring to everything else that matters. Not expensively, intentionally. Bold claim: the gray hair, the lines, the physical evidence of a life genuinely lived, worn with ease rather than apologized for, is one of the most powerfully attractive things available to an older man, and the Stoics understood exactly why. Marcus Aurelius practiced memento mori, the active remembrance of mortality, not as morbidity, but as a tool for genuine presence. By acknowledging that time passes and life changes, He cultivated a relationship with his own aging that was honest, dignified, and completely free of the desperate clinging to youth that produces such obvious and unattractive anxiety. The man who has genuinely made peace with his age, who doesn't dye his gray hair out of embarrassment, who doesn't reference his age apologetically in every conversation, who inhabits his current physical self with the same ease that genuine self-acceptance produces, broadcasts a signal that younger men simply cannot replicate, because younger men don't have history yet. They haven't been through enough to know who they are under pressure. They haven't accumulated the specific, visible evidence of a life that kept going through difficulty and came out the other side with something intact. The gray is that evidence. The lines are that evidence. The unhurried quality of a man who has learned that most things are not as urgent as they seem. That is that evidence. Wear it, not as a statement, as a simple, grounded fact of who you are. Mini story. A man named Robert, 61, completely gray, moved through rooms with the specific unhurried quality of someone who had stopped needing to prove anything, attended a professional conference. A woman named Diane, 44, accomplished, genuinely discerning, found herself in conversation with him for most of the evening. She told her colleague afterward, "He looked like himself, completely, comfortably himself. No apology for his age, no performance of being younger, just present. It was the most attractive quality in the room." Robert hadn't done anything special. He had simply stopped doing the thing most men his age were doing, performing youth out of insecurity. Bold claim. How an older man holds his body communicates his internal state more accurately and more immediately than anything he says. And Stoic philosophy has specific practices for developing the posture of genuine confidence. Somatic psychology, the study of how emotional states are held and expressed in the body, documents clearly that posture is not merely physical. It is the body's expression of a person's relationship with themselves. Collapsed posture communicates defeat, resignation, self-doubt. Open, grounded, unhurried posture communicates something entirely different. Marcus Aurelius practiced what we might call physical prososche, deliberate attention to how he inhabited his own body as an expression of his internal state. He wrote about moving through the world with the bearing of someone who had nothing to prove and nothing to fear, not as performance, but as the natural physical expression of genuine inner work. The practical application for older men is specific. Shoulders back, not artificially, but naturally released rather than held forward. Head level, not lifted in arrogance, not dropped in apology. Movement unhurried, not slow, but at the pace of someone who owns their own time. This posture is not something you put on like clothing. It is the external expression of genuine internal settledness. And the path to it is the internal work, the Stoic practice of knowing yourself, accepting yourself, releasing the need for external validation. When that work has been done, the posture follows naturally. Bold claim. In a world of anxious, reactive, emotionally dysregulated men, the older man who wears genuine calm as his default state is one of the most striking presences available, and women feel it immediately in their nervous systems. The neuroscience here is direct. The nervous system co-regulates, meaning that our physiological state is influenced by the states of the people around us. When we are near someone whose nervous system is genuinely regulated, genuinely calm, genuinely grounded, our own nervous system tends to settle in response. This is not a figure of speech. It is documented neurobiological reality. The Stoic practice of equanimity, the cultivation of inner stability regardless of external circumstances, produces exactly this quality. The man who has practiced not reacting to every provocation, not catastrophizing uncertainty, not requiring circumstances to be comfortable before he can function well, that man's presence is genuinely regulating to the people around him. Scenario: a man named Leonard, 55, genuinely grounded after years of Stoic practice, was at a dinner that went sideways. The reservation was wrong. Two guests were visibly uncomfortable with each other. The conversation hit several awkward patches. Leonard simply continued, warmly, without visible stress, finding what was interesting in the situation rather than managing anxiety about what wasn't working. A woman named Claire said to him afterward, "I don't know how you do that. Everything felt fine because you seemed fine." That is the Stoic calm doing what it does, not performed, worn. As naturally as he wore his jacket, bold claim. The most attractive older men are not attractive because of what they say about themselves. They are attractive because of the alignment between what they value and how they actually behave. And that alignment is immediately visible to anyone paying attention. Seneca wrote, "Convince by your life, not by your claims, not by your reputation, by the actual evidence of how you move through the world." The man who says he values honesty and is honest even when it would be easier not to be. The man who says he values loyalty and demonstrates it through how he speaks about the people in his life. The man who says he values respect and treats service workers and powerful people with identical dignity. These alignments are worn rather than announced. They are visible in behavior rather than stated in conversation. And high-value women who have developed, through experience, a finely calibrated ability to detect the gap between stated values and lived values, feel that alignment as one of the most attractive qualities available. Mini story. A woman named Patricia had been on 4 dates with a man named Edmund, 63, quiet, genuinely principled. She told her daughter, "I keep watching for the inconsistency, for the place where he says one thing and does another. I haven't found it yet. In 4 dates, he has been exactly who he presents himself to be." That consistency, that alignment between internal values and external behavior, was the most attractive thing available about him. Not his appearance, not his success. His integrity made visible through 4 ordinary evenings. Bold claim. A man with genuine purpose wears it in every interaction, and it is immediately, powerfully distinguishable from a man who is simply occupying time. The Stoics were explicit about this. Epictetus wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Purpose, the active, ongoing pursuit of something that matters beyond yourself, was not optional in Stoic philosophy. It was the foundation of a life worth living. The practical expression of this in attraction is specific. Purpose creates a quality of aliveness, a forward momentum, an engagement with the present moment, a sense of direction that the absence of purpose simply cannot replicate. When a man is genuinely pursuing something, building something, contributing something, growing towards something, he talks about it differently than a man who is managing time. He has the specific animated quality of someone whose daily life is connected to something that matters to them. Women feel the difference, not between a man who has achieved much and one who hasn't, between a man who is still moving and one who has stopped. This is the truth reveal, the deepest thing, the one that all the others point toward. Bold claim, the most attractive thing an older man can wear, the quality that no clothing, no grooming, no fitness routine can replicate or substitute for, is genuine, earned, quietly inhabited comfort in his own existence. Not performed confidence, not manufactured ease, the specific, earned, deeply real quality of a man who has been through enough to know himself, who has made peace with his past, who inhabits his present without apology, who faces his future with the calm of someone who has learned that most things are navigable. Marcus Aurelius described this quality in his Meditations repeatedly, not as an achievement to display, but as a daily practice to return to, the practice of accepting what is, of releasing the need for the world to be different before you can be at peace, of finding the life you actually have genuinely worth living. The man who has arrived at that practice, who wears it in how he moves and speaks and listens and responds, is immediately, viscerally distinguishable from men who haven't. Women describe him consistently in the same terms. There's something about him. He seems completely at ease with himself. I feel calm just being near him. That something is not a mystery. It is the accumulated evidence of genuine inner work, of years of Stoic practice, of choosing response over reaction, of pursuing virtue over approval, of building a relationship with his own existence that requires nothing external to sustain it. It is the most attractive thing available, and it cannot be purchased, performed, or shortcut. It can only be built, slowly, honestly, through the daily practice of showing up for your own life with genuine presence and genuine character. Mini story. A man named Vincent, 64, who had spent 15 years doing genuine inner work after a period of significant difficulty, walked into a room and something happened that he'd stopped noticing because it had become ordinary. People oriented toward him, not because he was loudest, because he was most present, most genuinely, completely himself. A woman named Helen, meeting him for the first time, said to a mutual friend afterward, "Who is that man? He's the most comfortable person I've ever been in a room with. Not the most handsome, not the most successful, the most comfortable, the most genuinely at ease with his own existence." That is what Stoic practice produces in a man over time, not a performance of confidence, the real thing. And the real thing, to worn quietly, consistently, without announcement, is the most attractive clothing available. Here is the question I want to leave you with. Of these 7 things, intentional dress, worn history, grounded posture, genuine calm, visible values, active purpose, and complete comfort in your own skin, which one are you furthest from wearing genuinely right now? Not the one that sounds most interesting. The one that, if you're honest with yourself, represents the most significant gap between the man you currently are and the man you want to become. Because that gap is not permanent. It is the specific territory where the work lives. The Stoics were clear, character is not fixed. It is built, daily, through practice, through deliberate choice, through the consistent decision to show up for your own life with genuine presence and genuine values. Drop in the comments which of the 7 hit closest and what you're going to do about it. I read every single one. If today gave you something real, subscribe. Every week we go this deep into Stoic philosophy, attraction psychology, and what it genuinely means to become a man worth becoming. See you in the next one.